What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Tuesday, December 20th, 2022. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Appreciate you all. Hope your week's off to a good start. It is Jupiter in Aries time, baby. That's definitely something to be grateful and excited for in these times because that collective 12th house Jupiter in Pisces with Neptune, we'll never see that again. So, however, that transpired in our lives, it was very important spiritually, within the wisdom that we found within, having faith, a trust that there's new beginnings, that things are unraveling in different ways or stories are getting identified here. So, something to be positive about and to reflect on in our own lives. And definitely wish that upon you all. Let's take a look at this Jupiter in Aries on this final full day of Sagittarius season. We do get that ingress, and we have the winter solstice tomorrow on the 21st. But, having the sun still in Sagittarius with a Jupiter to this zero Aries point, this 0 point of astrology, and in square, there are a lot of initiating factors here on this story that we are about to be expanded into, propelled into in a lot of ways. And hope and faith is very important. There's changes that need to be identified. There's a wisdom here that we've understood through weird circumstances, unseen sort of things. It definitely wasn't about necessarily the rush, more about the surrender. This is definitely a day where we can feel a little oomph about what it is that we're trying to expand and, aim our arrow in a direction here. Still a time to be hopeful, still a time to definitely believe in ourselves. That's absolutely a time to believe in ourselves and what can, be experienced and what can be learned on this journey that we're still on here. And Jupiter is going to be in Aries until May 14th. So, wow, just a lot is about to transpire. Jupiter's going to start moving quick here. And, we already got a piece of Jupiter in Aries. It's going to traverse right through Aries and till it comes to 15 degrees of Taurus, which ironically is where Uranus is. And it's going to go retrograde there and stay in Taurus. So, these few months here with Big Jupe is going to be big. Actually, I think it's March 14th, not May. So we get like 3 months of here. Jupiter's going to start cruising. Pretty cool. A lot to be identified. That's the beautiful part about Aries is it brings the I am. So there's a wisdom to the I am here. And as I've shown on this channel too, with Jupiter from a helio perspective squaring its nodes and reaching that southern turn, we are on the up and up. So we are heading up with this most, benefic planet, Jupiter. And it's been, going down for 6 years now. So we've reached a point where we're actually, there's only one way to go, and that's up. And there's only one thing to do about that, and it's to identify with, the guru within yourself, your beliefs, your wisdom. So much of your story is about to take place, and what can unfold from that is definitely up to you and the belief and the courage that you can have as we keep going. And to definitely, the faith is very important. Whatever, is your big truth in life, this is a time to expand upon that. And we could be feeling that umph to maybe get those things started as we do get the sun tomorrow in Capricorn squaring that Jupiter, and even a new moon on the 23rd. Yes, on the 23rd at 2:17 in the morning. That is going to be square this Jupiter too. So there's a big initiating force here. Cardinal energy is definitely going to be popping. We've had so much mutable. There was changes, there's mutations, and now we're kind of getting this initiating factor, but it can be a little too grandiose, if you will. So we do want to keep toning things down, especially with Jupiter in Aries, with the dispositor of that Jupiter being Mars, retrograde in Gemini. The time is going to come where the changes are going to start coming in hot. This is we don't want to force crazy into our life right now. It's still not a time to just, okay, well, Jupiter's out of Pisces, I'm just going to embrace the chaos. Like, this is like all the stuff that we felt. It's about the identification of it and then formulate the plan for what's next. And maybe there's a good understanding. It's a hard thing right now. We don't want to be too impulsive with Mars retrograde in Gemini. We can almost be searching so desperately for, impulsive change to come in. And we're getting the breadcrumbs. We're getting everything kind of pieced together here. There's a lot coming into play. So it is still a time of patience, but you are also getting the kick in the butt of what you know to be where you want to go and what this journey is going to look like. And it's not about the rush. The North Node in Taurus with Uranus is saying change is here in the physical world. You can build it. It's slow and steady wins the race. Don't just, it's just stay calm. Just stay calm. Look at the beautiful things and identify things. You're going to start to see things much more clearly than we have been. So however that shows up, it's going to show you how to stay persistent and kind of on task and kind of on it for what is identified for you. And the gift is going to be the courage to move on and to keep going. Even if we have to take a step back, we still are taking more steps forward in that direction. And Mars, of course, is in that tight sextile with Chiron now. It's going to be here for a little bit. So, we've been feeling this, but I think that this is a big sort of energy that's coming through today that there's a lot of firepower here. There's a lot of understanding the keys, if you will, with Chiron to our own sort of feelings of lack or our own doubts of our own, what we would maybe call misfortunes, but they're not. These are gifts in our life. And if we can identify our gifts and we can kind of transcend aspects that have held us down or suppressed us in the past, we're getting exactly what we need from this. And that's really beautiful because we can understand that it's not necessarily the impulse that we need right now. It's just the understanding. And we're getting more and more of that defined as we go through this Mars retrograde process, which we're less than a month away, January 13th or January 12th direct. So we're so close. It's felt like a lot. And Mercury in shadow, dispositing that Mars in Capricorn, or that Mars in Gemini, Mercury in Capricorn is absolutely trying again to show us a plan, saying slow and steady wins the race. We're going to be going over things, again. So it's like we're getting the identification of it, and then we're formulating the plan, and then we can, hit on the attack. So however that's working out for you in your life, it's definitely like you're going to know when the right time to strike is. You don't have to jump so quickly to the conclusion, although I can feel like we can think that that's going to bring exactly what we're looking for. And it may not, but make sure that you have the facts lined up before you just jump. And Venus is at 13 degrees, coming off the square to Chiron. It's coming off the trine to the North Node, and it's working towards the trine over to Uranus. So this is definitely like people are going to show up in our lives for different reasons, out of the blue sort of situations, kind of showing us where we can calm down, showing us where we can stay persistent for a life that we're creating. All these different things are kind of starting to come together right now that are going to be really connected. So there's this definitely potent energy that we can feel right now, starting to make shifts and changes in how we either create, jobs for ourselves, how we manifest abundance, but also that people in our life are definitely part of the abundance, and the relationships that we keep in our life, are they bringing more beauty into our life or are they not? The moon in Scorpio is having us go deeper and deeper and deeper into our feelings. It's showing us what is not serving us any longer, what is, disintegrating, or not even disintegrating, but going under the ground, if you will, so that we can find the aspects that are really growing and taking us further and higher. There's a lot that's being resurrected, if you will. So there's this resurrection energy of especially our beliefs with Jupiter and our story and our identifications. And, I would say that even the moon in Scorpio is trying to find this power of emotion that it can resurrect with, and it will also make the sextile over to Pluto in the evening, but it is going to be squaring Saturn during the day. So although we do have this great Jupiter ingress and so much, there's this fire here, there's a lot of passion. We're also in an interesting place where we're seeing detours still, roadblocks, people going different directions. There's disconnections, there's connections. there's areas in life where we have to suck it up and just go through the process. We have to kind of put effort and work in, when it comes to ourselves, our story, our beliefs, our commitments, our relationships. But sometimes the effort is the disconnection. Sometimes it's the connection. These are going to be areas that show up in our life. And it is about making that sort of mature decision from a deeper place of what we really want, what we want to be connected to, and what we're really merging to. Because it is important to focus on the contracts and the mergers right now. We really want them to be growing and beneficial and unique to our own stories here. And, we can definitely see a little bit of, force of power or control or suppression from energy in our life, which is really just having us make decisions. And our decisions are so important right now, especially today, as we're ready to expand in life and we're ready to identify and we're ready to find the lighter fluid, if you will, so that we can light these things up. And, there's a lot that wants to ignite. And it's getting there, but there's still a patience. It's being able to take your personal life seriously, take your relationship seriously, take what you want to bring to the collective seriously, but to also make sure that it has long-term potential, that it has, sustainability, and that it's growing, because there's certain things too we just have to be conscious of that are not growing, and the effort that we put there, is it worth it? And those are questions we have to figure out on our own. So, very interesting astrology, interesting times, but I do think there's a lot to be grateful for. There's a lot of abundance and wisdom within each of us to identify with and to start stories right now and not cling and hang on to old ones that have run their course of time. So we're at a place where we're seeing what has run its course in time and what is about to be started in this time. And the plan that's formulating, the attack on the plan. And it is going to be, by the time we, get to around midnight, we're going to see a dark moon in Scorpio for the third time, which is very rare. So interesting to get 3 of those. 3 months in a row, but this is the final one, and there's so much depth that we're having to find, and we're finding a lot of inner power. Sometimes it is by realizing where we don't have power that we find where we do, and that could be part of the feeling too here as we continue through this week. But hey, happy Jupiter in Aries. I think that's just great and something to give ourselves a pat on the back for. Jupiter in the 12th in Pisces, especially collectively, is not, it's not necessarily an easy transit, even though Jupiter is a ruler of Pisces, and with the other ruler, Neptune, it definitely played out in a lot of different ways in our collective consciousness, and then breaking it down into our individual lives. It goes everywhere from feeling stuck and trapped to feeling enlightened, so very broad spectrum here that we all had to deal with. And, that can feel like a collective dark night of the soul in many ways too, especially with eclipses in Scorpio. I've had to go into a lot of deep spaces within ourselves. So pat yourself on the back and get ready for these stories that are about to, have a name, have a place. The identification of things. Aries. All right, we got the 8 of Swords upright. Maybe this is this sort of mental sort of energy where we are seeing where we have trapped ourselves. We are seeing where there's certain things that we've done to our own mind that have limited us. And maybe it's those little shifts that have taken place where we're realizing how to take the limiter off so that we can free ourselves. And part of that might be all in the story. Maybe today is a day where we got to realize how to free our minds and not entrap ourselves into stories, situations, relationships, contracts that are not identified with our big truth in life. 5 of Cups, upright. Oh man, we don't want to be in sorrow situations right now. We don't want to feel like we're in an emotional poverty state. We got to look at the bright side. There's so much to be grateful for. We got to find the power and the wisdom, and we definitely don't want to look at life like there's nothing left, or not pay attention to what's really good in life either. So don't turn your back on the good things, turn towards the good things. Turn your back on the bad things and keep your head high and your chin up. We're learning too that we have to do this ourselves, and we have to make these choices from within to choose better feelings, to choose better situations that make us feel much more internally abundant. And the Ace of Cups in reverse. Oh man, I feel like today there's so many new things taking place, and it's trying to leave us overflowing, but we're almost like, no, I've seen it all at this point, and it's not going to get better, and people say it's going to get better, and it doesn't get better, and I keep having to go through these moments. Might as well just pour everything out and be upset. Don't let things get you down. Look at the positives. Your cup is overflowing, but you have to believe it is. You have to find that strength to keep going and to keep starting and to keep learning. We can't keep trapping ourselves in the cycle that it'll never get better, or it won't. Beliefs are powerful things. You have to believe that you can have all the emotional depth and the feelings and the wisdom and the abundance that you want. You have to know that, and you have to choose the good things and stop choosing the negative things. And I hope that's helpful for you all, and I love you all very much, and I hope you have a beautiful Tuesday, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Much love. Peace.